Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, F.E. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. Whenever tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
What's up, everybody? Champ and the Tramp here. We have a very special guest. I'm super excited today. We have BMX legend Scotty Cranmer in the house. This guy is a 9-time medalist in the X Games. He's tied with Dave Mirra for most X Games medal ever. Wow. He's a local legend, obviously. That's kind of how I got to know him back in the day, but he is a world-renowned superstar, YouTube sensation, and we are super excited to have him in the podcast room today. So, Scotty, how are you, brother?
And Jersey Shore royalty. You know, I've been hearing about Scotty for as long as I can remember, man. So, and this is the first time I got to meet him. So, man, this is cool to have you in the basement, man.
That's crazy hearing that Frankie Edgar used to know about me, man. That's wild, unbelievable. But it's awesome to be here, man. I'm really excited to be sitting down here with both of you guys.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So, for people that don't know, I mean, anybody that's in the BMX world or X Games world or whatever, and your name is synonymous with, legendary status. But for people that don't know, what is it that you do, basically? I mean, you're a BMX guy. You were born and raised in Jackson, New Jersey. Started out as a little kid riding, I'm assuming, the dirt ramps and stuff, and then worked your way up to competition level stuff.
I think you did pretty good on the cliff notes in that one. But,
I didn't even read anything about that. Pat Bartow, Pat told me that.
That's impressive. But it's the truth, though. I started out here in New Jersey. I mean, just like any other kid, just had a BMX bike. Saw it on the X Games like in 1995 on TV, and just thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I started riding BMX about around 7 years old. I grew up in this trailer park in Howell, and right outside the trailer park.
I love that story. I heard that about you. I heard you had very humble beginnings.
Yeah, of course.
I love that.
It's wild, man.
I love that.
The whole thing. But I grew up, had the BMX bike. I met this kid that lived right outside the trailer park. His name was Paulie. He had like my dream life. He had the cool haircut. He had a BMX bike that was from the bike shop, looked amazing. He had dirt bikes, had a track in his backyard, a pool with a slide. Like, you kidding me? Like a house that didn't have wheels. Like, it was he was just a man. And I kind of just started hanging out with him. And they were a little bit older than me, but they tolerated me hanging around, which was really cool. And they taught me so much stuff. And he used to play football and he raced BMX. And of course I wanted to do both. My mom gave me the ultimatum if I was going to play football or race BMX. I think you guys realize what I picked. But that's how it started for me.
That story sounds eerie familiar to Travis Pastrana's story. He was the young guy that what's the dirt bike movies that were out back in the day that everybody watched? Shit, I can't think.
Like Crusty Demons of
Dirt. Crusty Demons of Dirt. He used to watch that, and then he was riding one day with his dad. And there was a couple of those guys shooting a movie, and they were trying to cross a big water gap, like it was a little pond or something, and they dared this kid to do it. And at the time, I think he was 13, but he just grew up emulating these older guys, and he became a superstar. Very, familiar story to what you just said. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky with my situation, especially when I started, because I started riding when I was about, I want to say I started riding around 7. I got my first BMX bike Christmas of 1994, and it was a Mongoose Menace I got from the shop Bicycle World. That was out in Howell.
Oh,
yeah. So I ended up starting a race in April 1995. Loved it, but I loved just riding the bike, just jumping. That's what I loved the most. The competition part of racing, it was fun at first, but man, it gets serious after a little while. Yeah. And I kind of started dreading the racing, but I just loved riding my bike all week, leading up to that. And I started doing shows when I was 9 years old. It's funny because I did my first halftime show when I was 9 years old. It was it was at the Hornets, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, really?
Being out cool. On the basketball floor like that. Crazy though. I was watching the Last Dance this recently, episode 5. About halfway through, they showed the Georgia Dome, and I remember I was there, man, for that. I saw they showed
that game.
Yeah, they showed the overview of it, and me being a kid, I was only 11 years old, And at the time, I wasn't like a big guy in sports. I mean, I knew exactly who all the guys were. You know, I knew Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and like my dad making such a big deal. He's like, "This is gonna be Michael Jordan's last season." And I was like, "Cool," you know. I was just so excited to ride my bike. But like they show the shot of showing the stadium, and you could see there's like almost like a curtain that divides the stadium from the the rest of the, because it's a football arena, so it was huge. And we were supposed to do the halftime show, but I think something fell through. I think it was just craziness there. So they're like, all right, just put the ramp right here and do tricks. So you could see the ramp is in the actual frame there, so you can see it. But like, it's wild because like I remember my dad making a big deal out of it.
That'd be
like,
super nostalgic watching that.
Yeah, like, it was. It was because I do remember. Like, I remember like Dennis Rodman just walking straight past me, like because I remember being a kid. My older brother, he's my brother's 40 right now, so he's about 7 years older than me. And he used to leave SportsCenter on all the time, so like I constantly hear about Michael Jordan and them. So like it was just crazy to be there, and it's just even crazier to think that I was doing shows that long ago, being around it. But,
so to fly you out there, I'm assuming they fly you, other kids, your bike, everything out there.
We would drive actually for that
drove?
one. Yeah, there was a local guy doing the shows here in Toms River actually.
Oh, wow.
His name was Jeff Jones, and he was an old pro skateboarder. And I started doing shows with him, super young age. Like I remember, you guys remember this, when the MTV was over in Seaside for the summer.
I know a little something about that.
So like this is, I mean, what was it, late 90s around there? And like that guy Dave Holmes was doing like the Say What karaoke at the time. They set up the box jump on the boardwalk, and like Dave Holmes was like doing the show, and we're jumping in the background. Like it was cool as heck as a kid, doing stuff like that. So got lucky getting in like that, but at the time, I mean, I was just a little kid. I was just doing it for fun. It's not like I was competing or anything. Doing the freestyle competitions at that point. I didn't start competing until I was about 13 or so.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You just had a natural knack at it, or you just have balls, big steel, balls of steel?
I think, yeah. Well, it's when I think about BMX, because I got really big into following MMA, and at first I wasn't a big fan of MMA. Like I kind of didn't like it because I didn't like them promoting fighting, and before I didn't know anything about what the sport was, and my friend got me into it. And I'm gonna be honest, Frankie, I had my friend he got in some trouble with some drugs, and he stopped riding his bike, and I didn't talk to him for a few years, missed the heck out of him. And I finally got a chance to start seeing him again, and he didn't ride anymore. And what he was doing was watching UFC. And at the time, like, I didn't know anything about it, but I wanted to be friends with him. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So I sat down with him, let him show me everything, and his favorite fighter was BJ Penn.
Oh, wow.
So at the time, he told me everything about BJ Penn, and I'm all right, we're team BJ Penn.
He probably hates Frankie then.
So I'll be honest with you, Frank, man. When I first got into this, when I was a kid, like it was a rough day when what you did to BJ Penn. So but over time, I realized, MMA fighters, they have a very, very similar outlook on their sport to BMX riders, because it's just us out there.
Right.
It's just us, and it's more of a self goal too. That we're setting self goals of like, all right, I want to do this. I want to be the best I could be, and I thought that was so similar to sport of BMX, and I really got into following MMA after that. So
very cool.
I think for certain people, there's a lot of balls when it comes to doing this, but you have to be smart about it, man. Like you could be a guy that's going to go out there and just be a crazy guy that's going to roll the dice, but it's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
You got to have confidence in your skill set, of what you're doing. And I, over the years, I guess I was good at, trusting what I can do technically. So, but
confidence. You had confidence in your skills.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I read obviously did a little research, did some cliff notes about you on top of what I already knew, but everybody talks about your riding style and how unique it is and how you use the whole ramp and everything like that. But in my reading, one of my questions before I forget that I want to ask you, I was reading a little bit about your sponsors, and did I read that right? Brazzers?
What?
No.
Roger,
I
would love to see
Roger wants a tour. He wants a tour.
I was like, wait a minute.
They have. The check hasn't come.
Scotty has a porn site that is
What?
sponsoring him?
Where is this? Is this on Wikipedia or something?
Scotty Cranmer, born January 11th, 1987.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is an American BMX rider. I'll skip. We got you, though. That is you, correct?
So far, we're on the right track.
All right. Nicknamed the Bulldozer, which I didn't know.
That's a ridiculous story. I can
Is
tell you guys.
sponsored by
I didn't hear that
Vans
story.
Shoes, Hyperbike Company, Fox Clothing, ProTech Helmets, Brazzers. It's right there, bro.
It's Wikipedia, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
and anybody can go on there
Right,
and change
right.
it.
I'm like, Brazzers? This dude is killing
Oh
it.
my goodness, yeah.
All right, well, Brazzers, we're available if you want to get on the Champ of the Tramp.
You could make it official, man. That's pretty
I
wild.
read that and I was like, I gotta ask this dude if that's true.
I'll tell you what, the weirdest sponsor I've ever had, Tylenol.
No way.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
way.
That's big time now,
Makes
man.
sense.
Shit.
I mean, yeah, but as a
Fortune
kid,
500 company, you know?
I was like, must have been like 18 or 19, and my agent called, and he's like, Tylenol wants to sponsor
That is
you. I was
awesome,
like,
bro.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hey, man.
So walk us through that process a little, man. Growing
Yeah.
up so humble, and I heard this story. This is why I instantly gravitated towards you because everybody I know. I was in the stunt bike scene a little bit. Rode with guys like Pat Bartol, obviously, and every time your name came up, man, people just talked about you with such respect and about where you came from, right? I mean, I didn't know Trailer Park, but I'd heard very humble beginnings and just a really good dude that made it. That came from the silver spoon story, if you will. But walk us through that a little bit. I mean, what was that like? That rise to stardom and coming into big sponsorships and money, and because that can turn for a lot of people that can go bad. You know what I mean? And you
You're
seem
right.
like you really have a good head on your shoulders and you did well with it. You know?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's hard to figure out exactly where to start with this, but let me just say this. For what I did and how it all came together, like, there was no guidelines made for
Right.
this. There's nobody I could follow, nobody to ask advice. It just happened really fast.
Yeah.
And
Which is the downfall to many people. You know, rappers, athletes. You know, it happens.
For me, I'm lucky because I've never drank and I've never smoked. I've never done any drug in my life, and still to this day, I've never done it. And I feel like if somebody, I mean, it's happened before. I've seen BMX where there's a guy that's a party animal, and he as soon as he gets into it, it just falls apart for him. So
Right.
it's really lucky that I didn't have a vice like that going into this. But like you were saying, from humble beginnings, or let me just explain this one. Like, grew up in a trailer park. My dad, like, at one point, this trailer, there was my mom, my dad, and my older brother, myself, my younger sister, and my little brother living in this trailer. Two bedroom, like. But I mean, like, it wasn't like a soft story. Like, we loved it. It was awesome, man.
you
Like,
know any better,
the trailer park was awesome growing up, man. Like, you have all your friends that live like
Right
100
there.
feet away from you.
Isn't that why?
Yeah.
Isn't that why perspective is so important on anything in life? Like, that is your perspective on it, and that is the best. And other people would look at it like, this is
Like-
poor me. I'm living. That's perspective is everything about many situations. So it's great that you, and I think kids
Yeah.
are have a great perspective on a lot of things. It's when you
Definitely.
become an adult. that
It's as
you
I
get
got older
skewed.
though. Like, I remember, like, one time I stayed after school. I got detention. I got put on the bus with the Point of Woods kids. And the Point of Woods neighborhood was like the nicer neighborhood up. And like, there was these like real pretty girls that were on the bus and stuff. And of course they stopped at the trailer park first. I was like just mortified, like, I just ran off of that bus as fast as I could. Like, so, like, after a little while, like, it kind of, it started messing with
Catch
me
up
a
with you
little
a little
bit.
bit,
But
yeah.
like, I'll tell you one thing. Like, growing up in the trailer park, I realized that, like, there's a lot of things that went past me at the time, and, like, as I got older, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, she was a stripper.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I get that now. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, that kid's dad was definitely selling drugs. So, like, there's
Yeah, right.
things like that. I saw a lot of crazy things, but they were just like, at the time you didn't realize it. It was
Hey,
just
that's
like
a lot.
normal. But like I grew up in the trailer park, and we moved in 2001. I went to Freehold High School up until like my first marking period, and then my family thought it was a great idea to move. So that was really, really a tough one, being a freshman and then switch schools. That was
Yeah,
terrible.
right in the middle.
But we moved to Jackson, and at the time my parents owned the skate park though. So my dad, like I said, he had his own air conditioning business at the time when he first started. And when I was a kid, I did racing, but I really wanted to do freestyle. I wanted to go to the skate park. There was a skate park that was in Toms River that was over, right on almost like Beechwood over there.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It was called Alternative Sports Skate Park. And my dad brought me there, and it was just like, it was really grungy in there. You just didn't feel good about bringing your kids and dropping them off there. Like it wasn't good. So my dad always had this dream of opening up a skate park. He looked for buildings constantly, but like he had no money. So I don't know how. At the time, I didn't even think about this. It wasn't even in my mind how he was going to pull this off. But the fact that he was, trying to figure this out, he ended up finding a building in Lakewood, and this was 1999. My dad was doing a service call, asked the woman, he's like, "What's that building over there?" And she's like, "Oh, that is a building that's burnt. It was burnt down on the inside." So my dad called up a guy, I guess he did work for, that had a bunch of money, said, "Hey, listen, if you buy this building, I'm going to fix the inside of it. I'm going to take all that money from fixing the inside. I'm going to buy ramps, build the skate park, and open it." And somehow my dad made that dream come true.
Wow.
Crazy, man. Like it was. I rember like being a kid.
Now, was that the one that was open until recently? And,
Yeah.
And everybody was so bummed because it shut down, right?
Wow.
Everybody
Dude,
mourned that building.
And it's
in the
crazy.
BMX world,
Yeah,
but
it's
I heard
crazy
about it.
how
And
it
I'm not.
affected.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
affected so many people
Yeah.
over the years. So many people. Like and it
There
happened
was a big
so
fight
fast.
to keep it open, if I remember, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
it was. Because
Petitions and
like the community, coming in, that bought the area, that bought the building. They turned it like the gymnastics into a food market, and then when they bought our building and they tried to triple our rent, man. Like
Man.
like our rent on that building was like $7 a square foot, I believe, and it turned out to be like $14,000 a month, which is a big number.
Yeah,
Imagine tripling
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and you're charging kids $15 a head to get in.
Yeah,
That's
right,
a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot of people to come in.
Right.
That's
a lot of
a lot.
heads.
Right.
So yeah, but the great thing about it was that was like the longest running open indoor skate park like in the country.
legendary.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how
Wow,
my
that's
parents
amazing.
pulled it off, man.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy thinking back to it. But like we moved to Jackson when I was about 14 years old, and the skate park opened in 2000, so I was 13. I went pro at 16, dude.
Damn.
A lot happened in those 3 years.
Wow.
And when I went pro, like it happened fast. We went to, there was this big competition called the Metro Jam, and it was huge. Like all the big pros went there, up in Toronto, Canada. I was gonna enter amateur, and then like literally leading up to it, all my friends and my family were like, "You're entering pro." I was never more terrified in my life. Like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I was good enough. I remember seeing these guys in the magazines. They're my heroes. I can't run against them. I'm not good enough. Like, that's what I felt. I get there, I barely practiced because I was so scared. I didn't want to get in anybody's way. Maybe got a couple runs here and there. Dude, I ended up, like, having diarrhea. I was so nervous, like, leading up to it. Like, didn't eat anything. But qualifying went, dude, 80 riders. I qualified first.
Damn.
Dude,
Wow.
after that, everything changed, man.
Yeah.
Like,
That had to be a huge confidence builder, I would think.
well, in a way,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, like the type of person I am, like I never let stuff get to my head and let it build me up. Like I'm always gonna look at myself as the underdog in a way. I just can't. I just never. I don't know. Let it
Keeps
get
you
to
hungry.
me.
Keeps you
It
hungry.
does, and I'm so glad I had that. In a way.
Right.
But like, after that competition, let's say, I get a phone call from Van Shoes. We want to sponsor you, and we want to pay you. Like, what?
Yeah.
I get a call from Felt Bikes at the time. We want to sponsor you. We want to pay you. I'm like, what? Like,
That's
it's
amazing.
crazy. So I went from being.
I mean,
a
are they
kid-
literally calling you, or are they calling your parents?
Well, I guess at
I mean,
the
you're
time.
what, 13, right?
I was 16 when
16,
when I went
okay.
when I did my first professional contest, and like I guess.
You're at 16, you're like, yeah, $50, I'm
That's a
in.
good question. I don't know how they would have got my phone number thinking about it, but it was more than $50. It was like, dude, they offered me like I guess like my first Felt Bikes at the time, like offered me $1,500 a month to ride
Wow,
for them.
That's great.
All I gotta do is ride their bike, and they're gonna send me to more competitions.
Yeah,
Okay,
man, dude.
sure. Like, and like it was pretty wild at the time, and I got in at like the best time for the explosion of the sport. I mean, like X Games was already a big thing, but there was other competitions that were like on the verge at that time. Like there was a competition called the Do Tour. It was a 5-stop tour that was for BMX. It was like 25,000 for first place, times 5, and then at the end, if you got the title, it's like 70,000 for first. Like, it was. But then when you have opportunities like that, like big competitions, then there's more sponsors that come involved. So I got in at like a really awesome time. But back to what I was trying to say earlier is like I was just a kid.
Yeah.
So here I am, like being a kid, riding my bike every day, just pushing myself, having fun, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're a kid, kind of like on the verge of an adult, and this is your career now.
Yeah.
And like nobody makes a rule book for that.
Right.
Like I didn't know what I was doing.
And how
at
many
all.
people get to do that? Not many. I'm
Not
sitting
many
next
at all.
to, I got a 9 to 5 job, but I'm sitting next to two guys that get to do what they absolutely love to do.
But
You know
not
what I
at
mean?
16, bro. I was in high school doing shit, wrestling practice. That's about it.
No, you were at 16. You had the mentality of you wanted to be, an elite. Even if it was wrestling, you wanted to be.
Yes, I wanted to be elite at
Right,
that. But
right.
I mean, it's different. It's a different ball game when you're like in the spotlight
Yeah.
at such a young age. I would imagine,
It happened fast.
I mean, your parents obviously supported you. Your dad's opened the skate parks
Oh yeah,
for you.
dude. I'll tell you guys a funny story. You guys are gonna kick out of this. So I was doing good up until 5th grade, man, and then I had like this ADD. I was literally just drawing bikes, and I just couldn't focus, man. I'm terrible at this stuff when it comes to school. And by the time I got to middle school, man, I was bad. Like I just was failing. I was barely scraping by. Maybe I'll touch a D. Like it was barely. So all my teachers had this idea. All right, we're gonna switch this around. We're going to bring your parents in, we're going to sit you down, and we're going to go over, we got to get you back on track. So, of course, my mom was busy. They sent my dad in. So I'm sitting in this room with all of my teachers in 7th grade and my dad. So they're like, Mr. Cranmer, your son is flunking out of school. He's not paying attention. He's not doing his work proper. We know he's smart. We know he could do better. And my dad's just sitting there like, just taking it all in, just getting the lecture. And I can't believe what happened next. My dad goes, all right. Well, you said he's about to get a D, right? And they're like, yep. They're like, all right. So, he's going to get a D, and he's barely going to pass, but because none of this is going to matter, because he's going to be a professional BMX rider one day, and none of this is really going to be
That's
important.
great. Hey,
man.
he's seen it.
Listen, man, like, at the time, my stomach just dropped. I've never been like, I'm like 13 years old and like embarrassed in a way. Like, I'm like, that was not what they wanted to hear at all. It was the last thing.
And also some pressure on you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Because it's just crazy to me that my dad, he saw something in me back then. Like, I wasn't looking at myself like I could be something, but like apparently, he saw that,
That's
and
amazing.
it's wild.
You need that.
Crazy,
You
man.
need to have someone
It's
that
great to
believes you
have
like that.
your parents' support. Just think about that. Over the years, my parents opened up a skate park. When I was racing, my dad was a track director. While he was working, his air conditioning job. So I had the constant support. Been really lucky.
That
and,
helps,
times a
It's
thousand.
priceless, man.
Right.
It's
It really
priceless,
is, man. It really is.
Now, who represented you? Have like an agent?
Yeah. So I ended up getting, the biggest agent in the sport at the time. The one that was doing Ryan Nyquist, Dave Mira, all the big guys. So I got right in with them, and that's how I started. I get my deals after that. I had crazy stuff that came in, like Axe body spray. Dude, I did like a commercial called the Double Pits to Chesty. Like, dude, so like, for everybody that doesn't know, like X Games, like pretty much Axe would sponsor one athlete. They did like Ryan Sheckler. I think they did like a moto guy. And of course, I win X Games in 2009. And then they call for me. I'm like, you kidding me? Like, okay. So they come to my skate park and we film this like epic commercial, man. There was these cameras I've never seen before. Got my shirt off, working on my tan all summer. It's ridiculous. But like I did this trick and like a green screen when I go up, take my hands off, do an no-hander, grab a spray and spray my body and throw it back. So like that ran during X Games, man. Like that was cool.
Dude, hell yeah.
It's funny as heck. The woman that was directing the commercial, like, because she was pretty big time. She did like Gossip Girl. And after the commercial, she's like, listen, when you're done with this whole BMX thing, I think you should start acting. I was like,
damn.
really?
Oh,
She's
shit.
like, okay.
Yeah,
So that boosted my confidence. But I did.
Could have been on Twilight, man.
I'll tell you what. It's funny you say that, dude.
Oh.
All right, because it kind of intertwines with my next story. The guy that I
You
don't
look a little
remember.
vampire-ish.
I don't remember his name, but there was a guy. He played like the jock vampire in the first Twilight.
Yeah. My girl just made me watch all 5 of those. It was torture.
Lautner,
but-
right? Lautner, Taylor Lautner?
No, not
No,
that
no,
guy.
that's the
Not
wolf.
that guy.
He's the wolf.
He was the wolf. He was a
Okay.
vampire guy.
Okay.
He was
Square-jawed,
Edwin's brother.
jacked
Blonde
dude,
hair.
Yeah,
So
right,
him-
yeah.
So there was a movie in 2005. I got called to audition for a movie. It's called Stick It. It was a Disney movie. They wanted me to go in and audition for this part.
It's weird because Frankie auditioned for the exact same movie, but it wasn't for Disney.
It was on Presidents. You should have known.
So I went in there for this audition in New York. And I get there and I roll in with a car magazine. I'm just reading this car magazine. There's kids that are in there that are practicing their lines out loud. I'm like,
Oh my God,
dude,
shit.
what the hell am I doing here? So I just go in there, I just read the lines. Clearly, terrible job. But I still did the stunt work for it. So I remember being on set And like that dude was there, the Twilight guy. He ended up getting my part, maybe, I think, or whatever. It looks like it worked out for him.
Yeah.
But like I did do the stunt work. So if you watch the beginning of Stick It, like I did like a backflip double tail whip. I did like I think it was like something down like a set of like a ladder. And then another guy that this guy Mike Escamilla, he did like a thing through the glass. It was like official. Like it was pretty crazy. Like the glass, like that's not up my alley. That was like he was like a proper stunt man. So, but it was a cool experience. I wish I would have tried a little harder, man. You know,
Get the spot.
Who knows what could have happened, man?
What is the epic I'm obviously older than you, but when I was a kid, I think it was called Rad. Was that the BMX movie?
Yeah.
That thing is like iconic.
I just watched it. It's on Amazon Prime, and like it was like such great quality.
Yeah.
It was wild. Exactly. Yeah, Frankie saw it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty wild because like all the guys in that movie, like you know, a lot of the guys are all BMX pros that are doing all the, you know, clearly all the ones that are doing the riding. But that guy that acted for Crew Jones, the main one, his name was Bill Allen, and like, you know, he still like will come to like BMX events and people look at him like he's Crew Jones, man. It's pretty wild. It was probably like one of the biggest things that he did acting wise, but it's like cult, you know.
Definitely cult classic.
Yeah,
for sure.
but that's a cool movie though.
Yeah,
it really was.
Just
seeing BMX in that kind of,
I think that inspired a lot of kids back in the day.
Definitely.
I mean, when did that come out? You're like, what, 33?
The year before I was born.
Oh, okay.
You know, in 1986. But the thing about this, like BMX at that point was really big enough that it would be a movie.
Right. Yeah.
But after that, man, it's gone through spurts. It died down drastically after that. You know, early 90s, it was silent. You had like all the best guys like Matt Hoffman and Dave Mirra just doing shows for money. There was no competitions or anything.
Are you behind their era? Did you ride with those guys? Because they're a little older than
So
you, right?
I competed against Dave Mirra. Matt Hoffman, he did vert, so I never competed against him. But like like for instance, here's an example. Like one of Matt Hoffman's last X Games, I believe it was 2002. He did one of the craziest tricks ever on vert, no-handed 900, and he did it beautifully. Dude, it was in Philadelphia, so I was in the stands watching it.
I was there.
Did you go?
What year? 99?
No, that was, so
right.
if you were in Philadelphia, did you go to one in Philly?
Philly, yeah.
That was 2001, 2002 was in Philly.
Yeah,
but
I was
then,
in college, yeah.
dude, the very next year, I'm riding X Games, 2003. Like, I did not see that coming at all, man. It was nuts.
So you go
to think
from
about
spectator to now actually being, that's crazy, man.
That was not, I did terrible in the first year, though.
Did you?
Yeah. I was all
deer in
into
headlights
it. In a way, but like, I mean, I still ride, like, I had a good solid year of competition, but like it was X Games. You get there's security, there's lanyards, you got to flash your thing, and there's cameras everywhere. It's not that like I was like nervous, so to say. I was just excited. So one of the first days of the competition of practice, I went and I did the spoofing on the wall. So imagine there's a 6-foot quarter pipe, there's a 10-foot wall up there. I tried to jump, land on my back wheel on the very top of that wall, so 16 feet up, then jump back in. My brakes slipped, so I went to sprocket stall, but I'm falling back. I jumped off the bike, I did a barrel roll, landed into it, I'm like, shoo, we're good. And all of a sudden,
just spoke complete German right there.
I followed a little bit. Yeah.
Well, let me give you cliff notes. I went from 16 feet up, I hit the ground, all right? But I was okay. But I saw like an eclipse of like the sun, boom, my bike hits me in the face, breaks my nose.
Oh, damn.
So I woke up the next day, my eyes were swollen shut, and
shit.
I couldn't see anything. I got 19th place out of 20 my first year, dude. It was bad. It was a rough show.
Only go up from there.
Only go up from there.
Who's the dude? Who's the BM? Oh no, I think it's skateboard. I'm sorry, but you probably know X Games guy.
Yeah.
I think it was a big air competition.
You're talking about Jake Brown,
bro. He landed in the middle of the thing, and both of his shoes blew off when he landed. But it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, well, I wasn't. Listen, I was competing that year. I'm pretty sure it was 2006, and I won that year. I was pretty psyched, I was watching. Back in the hotel room at that one, because I believe it was at 2 different spots. They had there was one at the Home Depot Center where my competition was, and then one at the Staples Center where they had that ramp at. So since it was like kind of far apart, I just went back to the hotel that was close, and I was just watching on TV. I couldn't believe what I saw, man.
Yeah.
It was the worst case scenario, you know, like
because he's like, you know, he's, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he's like running in air. I guess he's
they
trying.
Call that like rolling the windows down. You know?
Okay,
like you're just trying to do whatever you can in the air. You know,
what would you say that this? Right? I mean, it looked like 30, 40 feet to me, but what was it?
He went higher, you know, pretty much higher than anybody
Right.
usually. So he would bring so much speed. The thing that happened was like, the pump is so crucial on extreme sports when it comes to ramp. And when we say pump, it's how you absorb the transition and use that, you know, power to generate up. So he went in there, lost his pump, and his balance went. So he wasn't prepared for it, and he just didn't have the legs in him to pump. So it just sprung him off of the wall. So if you factor, it's about 40 feet, man, and he walked away from that. That's insane,
I couldn't
man.
believe it,
It's
man.
a crazy.
Could not believe it.
Me neither. Like still, you know, when that clip comes on, I just
Cringe.
can't believe what I'm
It
watching.
reminds me of the Olympic one, the agony of defeat, where the skier comes off the end of the high jump. He's just like, it reminds me almost of that. Remember before the Olympics, it's the old footage of it, but it always said the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And it's got this guy
Fucked up.
coming
Yeah,
off
on
the
that
ski
clip.
ramp and just literally like looping out. And yeah, it was a yard sale, but
That's exactly what they call it.
Yeah.
There's things everywhere, but yeah, and that's the thing about extreme sports. It's you know, I mean, listen, I am walking proof. And I'm glad to say that I am walking proof. You know, like of anything can happen. And just think about that. You know, he went 40 feet, had the craziest crash of his life, walked away from it.
Right.
Dude, you know, if you want to get into that side of the story,
I do. This is how I met Scotty for the first and only time. Really, is Scott. I'll let him tell the story. But Scotty had a horrendous. You were filming, I think, a Monster Energy commercial, correct, in Vegas?
You're on the right track. I was there for a Monster event.
Okay.
But I was filming a YouTube video because at the time my YouTube channel was like taking off.
Oh, it's still off the bro. You got like 1.5 million subscribers or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But like at the time, like my channel was flying, dude, and I was working like crazy. I was doing 7 videos a week. I was editing all the videos, writing in all the videos. But like, I mean, the reason why I was pushing so hard is because like I was in, like we were saying earlier, I was 16 when I became a pro. And if you're doing an extreme sport for that long, man, like it is so hard to be at the top. Like like
we talk about this with Frankie a lot.
If anybody's going to be able to relate,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's Frankie, man. Like it's hard to keep pushing yourself at that level,
Right.
you know, and you're constantly just kind of going against yourself too. It's like you got to be the best that you can be, man. And when it comes to BMX, it's like it's not like a walk in the park when you go out there, dude. You every day you're going out there to push yourself and outdo yourself from the day before. And it's wild to think how long I did that for, man. And mentally, it was hard. So I got to the point, you know, like where, all right, I did it all, man. Like you said in the beginning, I got 9 X Games medals.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is insane.
Unreal.
And I was able to do that, you know, over that span. And like, there was ups and downs for me, times where I've gotten hurt and stuff. But like, man, I invented tricks for a while. I was at the top of the sport, and then like, there was times, you know, over the years where like it was hard to stay relevant in a way because the sport's always evolving. You know, there's always new kids coming in with new styles, and then they're like, man, that's the guy now. I want to be like him. And then here I am with my older tricks, so to say, my older style, being an old guy compared to these, you know, young guns that are coming in, and like that was hard. So I remember being at one point like before I started my YouTube channel, I thought like, all right, my career's over. I was like, if there's no more Jew Tour competition, they stop that. And I only have X Games. If I don't do good at X Games, why are my sponsors going to sponsor me? I'm like, I have no value right now. Like all these other guys have high Instagram followers. Now here I am, just like scraping by. If I can get on TV and you know, be an X Games gold medalist, yeah, all right, I'll be able to keep it. But like, I had a tough scare when like in 2013, man, I was going into X Games the year, and I ended up like hurting my leg right before it, and I'm like, dude, I'm screwed. Now this is gonna be it. I'm not gonna have any sponsors next year, and then I don't have any other skill set. Like, dude, that freaks me out. I mean, I grew up, I guess technically with bad anxiety, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, nobody makes a handbook for this. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I was just kind of just flying by this whole career. Everything felt like it was almost on cruise control in a way, but like, I got to the point where I'm like, now what? And that was always, I hated when people would ask me that question. They were like, man, what are you going to do after BMX? I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, every time people would ask me, I just was so mad at them, like, in a way. Like, I was like, I don't want to talk about it because I don't have an answer.
Cross that one off.
You know, like, and I always dreaded that day. So when my YouTube channel came around, dude, that was like a roll of the dice. Like, dude, maybe if I can get 50,000 subscribers around there, I can get some value, and my sponsors will keep me. That was what I did. And when my YouTube channel finally took off, dude,
Bro,
I was
off.
That's
took
the thing.
off.
It took off so
It's
so
the
hard.
most insane YouTube channel ever with the loyalty and the followers and the subscribers. I mean,
I'm so glad to be able to say that I have that now. But man, working
Took
for
a while to
that,
build
it sucked, man. Putting all this effort in, and like the views were down, but then one day it just clicked, man. And that was right before my
Was there
crash.
like a viral moment? You did something?
It was. I'll tell you the moment that I knew something was up. I know we keep on getting away from the crash thing, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
I was in Huntington Beach, California at a competition, and the channel was doing all right. We were like about at 100,000 subscribers, and Big Boy was there for the first time. He's so freaking excited to ride, and like he's just, you never know what's gonna happen with him. We're out and about riding. I brought my GoPro. I'm filming. We're going down Pacific Coast Highway, right there in Huntington Beach, and like there's people everywhere. Big Boy's psyched. Trey was there riding, and we're going across PCH, and Trey goes to jump over the median. And Big Boy went, or Trey went like around the median, and Big Boy went to go do a trick over it, and they collided. And Big Boy flips the handlebars and just eats it in the middle. But as he's falling, there's a kid who goes, "Yo, what up, Big Boy?" And I look over, just random surfer kid, and then he crashes directly, like literally in the video. You hear like, "What up, Big Boy?" And the Big Boy's eating it. So like I'm dying laughing. I can't believe. I'm like, dude, that kid just recognized Big Boy, like as he's flat out on the middle of the road. And then like I couldn't believe it. So about 3 days later, we're in this parking lot, and it's like a nice little area in Huntington Beach, and we're eating pizza, and a Maserati pulls in super loud, and everybody turns and looks at the Maserati. Everybody, all the people around, and there was like 4 kids that were in the Maserati. And we're all sitting there, and the guy in the Maserati like looks over at us. He's like, "What up, Big Boy?" I'm like, "Dude, no way." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "Something's up." And then after that, man, like it just started gaining so much traction.
That's awesome.
And like we were gaining like 100,000 subscribers a week. It was nuts. And like and it started flying at that point between like 100 and 600,000. That's when my crash happened. Damn. So like I said, I was fully committed because I thought my career was over. Dude, I had a second chance at life, and I wasn't taking it for granted, so I was working hard for it. Yeah. So we get to Vegas for this monster event. I'm like, dude, let's go film a video. We need to get one for tomorrow. I'm gonna ride some street with my friends. It was me, Big Boy, and my friend Ronnie Search. So we were at the Palms. We left. We're just riding around random spots. Everything's going good. We get to the last spot. It's like a platform of like a building, like almost like the foundation, but they never built the building. And it was on the edge of a concrete ditch, and the concrete ditch had like a 4-foot bank, almost looked like a skate park ramp. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get our last spot here. We'll go back, I'll edit the video, get this one out. So I'm doing the last trick. I went up and I did a ride across this ledge. I did a tail whip into the bank, rode away from it, but I kind of like slid out. And inside the ditch there was like kind of some gravel, there was some weeds, and I just walked off the bike. I'm like, damn it, gotta go do it again. So I get up top. I go to do the trick again. I land the tail whip. I remember landing the tail whip, but after that, boom, complete blank. So what ended up happening was there was a bunch of weeds that were, about 12 feet after the landing. And they just looked like weeds that were just randomly growing out of a crack. On the other side of this thing was a hole that was in the ground, about 3 feet wide, 3 feet deep. And it completely, from my vantage point, I had no idea it was there. So what ended up happening was, it just snuck up on me. I never saw it coming. I landed the trick, rode away from it, front wheel went in the hole, went head first into the ground. So at this point, we were at the spot. Ronnie's got his phone. He's from England. He had like his English phone there. It was like kind of complicated. Like an idiot, and like idiots, me and Big Boy were like, yeah, we don't need our phones. We're just going to leave it. So here we are in this ditch. I'm kind of unconscious. There's blood like pouring out of my nose, Big Boy was saying. I don't have any recollection of this. So I'm kind of telling you through Big Boy's eyes right now. And then I told Big Boy I couldn't feel anything. And Big Boy just did his best, and they called the ambulance, but they couldn't get a hold, so they ran to this boxing gym that was right next door, told them the situation, they called the ambulance came to pick me up, and dude, it was crazy. So I ended up being at the hospital. I remember my parents told me this. They said that they called him up and they're like, you should get here immediately because we don't know if he's going to make it through the night. Like, it was crazy.
Shit.
Like, it was wild. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine getting that call, dude. My
parents were in Jersey?
In Jersey. And my wife and my family. So they immediately flew to Las Vegas. They went to the hospital. And then I barely remember anything, around. There's not much I remember from Vegas. I was there from, I guess it was October 12th was the day of my crash. I left Vegas on Halloween,
Damn.
so I was there for a while. Dude, I barely remember bits and pieces because not only did I break my neck, I also got a couple. I had 3, I guess, brain bleeds. It was kind of complicated while we were there. So they waited like 3 days to do my spine surgery. They had to wait for this special doctor to come in, and I ended up doing my C3 and C4 spinal cord. This is where my spinal cord was damaged at least. They did an umbrella surgery where they take the spinal cord apart, they take the spinal cord apart. The vertebrae they hollow it out, so if the spinal cord expands, it doesn't damage the spinal cord more. And then they also fused my 6 and 7. So, they didn't know if I was going to ever walk again. And I remember the first thing I remember was laying in the hospital bed with both my hands, down by my waist. And I see my dad. He's talking annoyingly loud. He's like, "Hey, Scotty, hey, you there? Can you feel this? Can you feel this?" And he's holding my right hand. And he's squeezing it. Squeeze my hand. Squeeze my hand. It was like annoying. I'm like, oh, shut up in a way, But like, I'm looking at him and I'm like, that's not my hand. I remember this. I do remember this. I was like, that's not my hand. I told him that. And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I remember saying, "My hands are underneath the blanket." And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like trying to just get more out of me. He's like, and I remember telling him this. I remember how it felt too. I felt like my hands were crossed like Dracula over my chest. And I was making the tightest fist I've ever made, to the point where it hurts. And I told him that my hands were under there. Those weren't my hands. And I remember telling him this. And I just remember the look of defeat on my dad's face of like, damn, in a way. And then I remember blanking out, don't remember much after that. I remember waking up barely and like seeing them talk about college football on the TV. And then I also remember them coming in and giving me, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like this machine that pushes almost like a humidifier thing that goes into you, you know what I mean? It's like humid air or something like that. I don't know what it does.
Maybe it's help you breathing?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And they're like, blow, saying stuff like that. But I was convinced, because of course I'm not right, but I was convinced that they were pumping poison in me. So I refused to do it in a way. So I barely remember bits and pieces. And then once I got out, before I skip anything, I ended up, at the one point I didn't have, the surgery done on my head. So up until the 21st or whatever, I was just healing from my spinal cord surgery. And then, I guess just out of nowhere, my wife was there and my vitals just dropped hardcore. And my wife calls him in. They're like, "Oh, he's on too much medication." So they gave me I guess it's Narcan or something like that where wakes me up.
Yeah.
So everything went back normal. And then 10 minutes later, drops again. So they rushed me in, did a CAT scan, and realized I had the brain bleeds at that point. So then they removed my forehead.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
So, and I had no recollection of any of this. The next thing I remember was being on the med jet, being brought to New Jersey, Kessler, the place that Christopher Reeves went to, where he did that. So, and then I remember being in Kessler.
Not to cut you off, but he's not kidding, guys. If you don't subscribe or follow his YouTube channel, there's video of you talking about the accident, and they can actually see you. I think you take your beanie off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can. I don't know if you have a strong stomach or not, but you could actually see what he's talking about. Literally, they removed a portion of your skull.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dude, that was the craziest thing because I remember my cousin being there. It had to have been early November, and I had a helmet on all the time. And I'm laying in a bed. I can't move anything from the neck down, so it's not like I can go look into a mirror. There's no mirrors that they have around there for you to look through. So my cousin's, I'm really close with, and he's sitting next to me. He's like, "Hey, you want to see the part of your brain your skull that they removed?" And I was just convinced in my head it was the size of a quarter. It's just it's for pressure. That's what they said. Yeah. So my cousin's like, "You want to see it?" I'm like, "No, I don't care." And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't really care." And then he takes a picture. He's like, "You want to see it?" And he just points it to me, and my heart just went boom.
Right.
Oh,
dude, my whole forehead was gone.
Oh, no.
Gone, dude. Literally, you see my skin up against my brain. Dude, I couldn't believe it. Nobody told me that.
Fucking wow.
Nobody told me that. I had no idea. So, dude, that tripped me out big time. But to move forward with the story, I'll get to another crazy part about it. But, as time went on, little things started happening. I started, the first thing I was able to move was, my ankle, I believe, or my left toe. And then after that, I was able to move my left leg a little bit. And then my left arm started moving a little bit. And then, like, dude, I had the itchiest face ever. All I wanted to do was scratch my nose. I would beg people constantly scratch my nose. It's like, man, if I can finally scratch my nose, life is going to be great. And finally, I got my arm up and I'm scratching my nose. I'm like, dude, this is it. We're good, man. We're good. So, but I'll tell you one thing before I skip. I think you guys will find this interesting. Is like, when I was laying in the hospital bed and I realized I was paralyzed for the first time. It's like my worst.
This is Vegas or Kessler?
This is in Vegas, sorry.
Vegas, yeah.
Because I think this is important. Like, I remember being there and just realizing my worst dream, my worst nightmare came true. Yeah. And, like, it was just always my biggest fear. Because there's a guy named Stephen Murray that broke his neck riding BMX. He was a pro. And after he broke his neck, dude, I changed my riding style. I stopped doing big tricks. I started doing technical tricks because I was just so nervous about that. And waking up and realizing that I was paralyzed, like, it was that time when I was, about my dad. Like, but even though I knew it was my worst nightmare, for something inside of me, dude, I don't know, I can't explain it, but I knew everything was gonna be okay. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was like just something that was just, that you experience like an endorphin that's just like, dude, things are gonna work out. I don't know if it was like my body knew, like, dude, we got this in a way. I don't know, but like.
Well, your mind's been telling you got this since you were a fucking
I was gonna
kid.
say, I really believe that it's just how you're programmed, bro. I just do.
Think so,
I do. I don't think everybody's programmed like you.
Yeah.
I don't.
You've been telling yourself you got this for a long time.
Yeah. So that was like a reassuring thing. I was like, dude, things are gonna be okay. Whatever. I felt relieved, dude. A little bit felt relieved. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make a video tomorrow. Yeah. And how crazy is that? That's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Dude, while I was out, there's video of me unconscious in the bed doing my YouTube outro. All right, guys, until next time, remember to subscribe. Peace. Doing that, dude. Wow. I remember being in like a constant YouTube video of being in an empty parking lot trying to finish a video. That sucks, dude.
Right.
Like a nightmare, a repetitive nightmare. Yeah. But like, because I was working so hard on it. It really was, man. Like, I do remember being in that constant. But back to Kessler, I started being able to move things. Scratching my nose, that was great. And then like, I wanted to move my right side so bad. I couldn't do it, dude. It was like trying to change a channel on a TV with a remote that has no batteries. Like, it's just not gonna happen, dude. You can wish all you want. I've tried, there's just nothing there. And I remember one day just sitting in my hospital bed, I'm watching TV, my nurse was there with me, like I had a hired nurse that would hang out with me to just make sure everything was okay. So she's sitting down, kind of doing her own thing. I'm looking at my right arm, I'm like, today's the day, you're moving. And I stared at my arm, and I moved. I pressed as hard as I could, dude. I'm pulling up, and then my arm is raising. It's raising up, and it's going up next to me. I'm like, oh my god. And it drops down. And I look at my nurse. I'm like, did you see that? She's like, yes. And I'm like, dude, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but dude, I believed in it. I'm like, I might have just moved that, like, using the force. Like, dude, I swear to you. So I'm like, all right, 60 seconds. I'm gonna wait a minute and try it again. And I tried it again, and it came up, dude. I'm like, you got it. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But throughout all this, dude, none of the doctors,
this is all in your spine, nerves just starting to reconnect, right? I mean, that's
things are going to constantly reconnect. That's what they say. Forever, technically. Yeah. So, just how far is it going to go?
Nerves grow like 1 millimeter a month or something. I've got some nerve damage, and it's something like ridiculously like minute. You know what I mean? So
because that's the thing, they don't know. Yeah. The spinal cord injury, dude, is just all a guessing game, man. Right. They describe the spinal cord like magic, dude. Like, they don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. It's just like a miracle cord. Yeah. So like, as things start getting better, though, nobody would tell me that, like, hey, dude, you're gonna walk again. Nobody ever said that. Like, they don't
want to get your hopes up.
Exactly. Yeah. And I get that, and I appreciate the fact that they're not doing that. But went back to the forehead thing. So I finally go and meet with a neurologist, figuring out this forehead issue. Right? They remove my forehead. They're storing it in like an ice thing. Like, I'm figuring like Walt Disney, I guess. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. So I meet with the neurologist, and he's going over my paperwork. And this guy is like, he's like the typical what you'd expect, like, neurologist. The dude, like, he looked cool, but he was like, real like firm and kind of like, didn't really give you too much emotion. But he's looking through my paperwork, and he's like, wow, and then he looks at me, and he's like, comes over, grabs my arm. He's like, push my arm. I was like, and then he's like, push my arm on this one. Pushes my feet, and he's like, dude, you're gonna walk again. He told me that, you're gonna walk again. I'm like, yes.
I was like, what was that moment?
That was like, I've been waiting for that. I just wanted somebody who knew what they were talking about to like let me know that, like, I had something to look forward to in a way. Like, that was crazy. But then he gives me the bad news. He's like, well, good news, kind of bad news. He's like, He's like, all right, your forehead, you got it on ice. Yeah, we're just gonna plug that thing back in. It's gonna heal back. I'm like, this is great. That sounds awesome. Yeah. We're gonna like, kind of bolt it in, but it'll heal back. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I go a couple weeks, and at this point, I'm in Kessler from October 31st until, I spent almost 3 months there, dude. I was living there.
Yeah.
So like January 28th or around there, dude. It felt like home. That like my dad worked, up for the gas company about 10 or 15 minutes away from there, so we just drive straight from work over there, hang out with me every day. My wife or my mom was there constantly. Mm-hmm. All my friends would come by. Like it just got to a normal routine. Yeah. It was cool. Like I
came and visited you one day because again we have mutual friends, Glenn. Obviously, my diesel mechanic, and you guys grew up together, I think. And he said, let's go. Mm-hmm. Actually, I guess how it started is somebody asked me to put a post about you. I heard about your accident, very early on, and although I hadn't met you, everybody had nothing but great things. But somebody asked me to post about, I think, Road to Recovery and trying to do a fundraiser, and so I had posted, and then Glenn one day hit me up and he was like, hey, I'm going to go up and see Scotty tonight. Do you want to go? And I just remember getting there and thinking in my head, this poor kid's way up north. He's from Jackson. There might be, maybe his mom's there, maybe his dad. Bro, it was like a party. When I went in. It was like all your friends, big boy, your mom, your dad, your aunt. It was like, I was like, this is awesome.
And you remember, like, when we were sitting there, it wasn't just, like, my friends and family, though. I had, like, people that I was friends with from the place.
You introduced me to, I remember a kid that played hockey that was in there. You introduced me to so many
people
kids.
A
lot of athletes.
Exactly.
A lot of athletes that were
because there was different floors of Kessler. Like, the first floor, I don't remember what it was. I think, I'll get it messed up, but I know the second floor was, spinal cord, and then the third floor was, like, brain injury. Like, they didn't know if I was going to be on the brain injury floor or the spinal cord floor. That's kind of crazy, man. Like, because, like, my brain was messed up for a while. Like, there's videos of me saying ridiculous stuff, dude. Like, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was cursing nonstop. Like, if my grandma was in there, dude, I had no filter. I was just letting it run.
Wow.
Dude, I had this nurse that came in there every day. Her name was Grace. But for some reason, she would walk in, and I would sing 7 o'clock in the morning. Here she is, Miss America, every morning. Dude, you're like, I don't know what the... It doesn't make sense. It was out of nowhere. And it became normal. Like, and then just one day, I just was like, walking, I'm like, hi, Grace. And then she's like, goes to my wife, she's like, what's wrong with Scott? She's like, no, he's fine. Yeah, everything's normal. I just stopped singing. And then I stopped cursing. But I had no doctors around to explain any of this. Yeah. So at the end, when I was getting ready to leave, one of my doctors was like, all right, let's talk about you leaving. You had a frontal lobe injury. That controls your filter. You're going to notice some changes. I'm like, oh my God, finally. Like, I realized why I was so weird,
At the end, he gets it.
Just saying ridiculous things,
Now, was it all at once? You stopped saying things, or is there things that just got better?
For me, I feel like it was like almost like a light switch, in a way. Like this one morning, I just got normal.
I have a little experience with that, and that makes total sense. Frontal lobe, because I remember, when I was in high school, one of my really good friends, Chris, I won't say his last name, really good friend of mine. Long story, I won't get into the whole thing, but he shot himself. He shot himself under the chin, and the bullet lodged in his frontal lobe. And they did the same thing they did with you. They, peeled his forehead back, and they were going to do a surgery, and they couldn't remove the bullet. It would cause more damage to remove it, so they left it in. They patched him up, and they sent him home. And I remember it was a frontal lobe, and we were in high school. We were maybe like 16, 17 years old, something like that. But his emotional being was so different after the accident, and somebody explained to me that it's because the bullet impacted his frontal lobe and it changed it. He was like a totally different kid, totally different.
But like, I'm so glad that like I'm back to who I am.
Yes,
you are. Anything, man. Like I'm just so glad that like. I can have normal conversations with everybody.
Yes.
I have all my memories.
Yes.
My wife, she gets to talk to her husband. Things like that. That's such a big deal.
I'll be honest. When I visited you, I didn't know what to expect because I knew you had a major. You seem so yourself, man. And this is when you were missing your head.
Yeah.
Wearing a helmet. And to me, you seem. When I left there, I was like, he's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
He's gonna be good. And that was in the beginning. You were in rough shape back then.
Yeah, because when you came was in January. So that was 2 months about after it. I guess that was enough time for it to heal. But so back to the doctor about the forehead. So he's telling me, all right, we're gonna put the regular forehead back in. I'm like, great, this is awesome. And then I go for like my last checkup, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna put a plastic forehead in. I'm like, what? He's like, I saw there's fractures in the other one. He's like, it doesn't matter anyway, because that piece, it probably would have only lasted 3 years, and we would have had to do surgery again. I'm like, why the the hell do we even bother doing that phone in the first place, dude?
Yeah.
If you're telling me you're gonna just put a plastic piece in that's gonna fit perfectly, like, you know,
So this
why?
thing's been sitting on ice for like 4 or 5 months. What do they do with it now? They
Dude,
just toss it in the
it's funny you
trash?
say that, because I'm hoping that thing is in the trash, and I'm not gonna get a bill like 20 years down the road.
The
Pay for this
refrigerant
thing,
bill.
right?
Freeze, yeah.
It's crazy though. I actually had a random FaceTime with TJ Lavin. He's like, "Hey, dude, I got someone to talk to. Put Uriah Faber on." He's like, Uriah Faber's like, you know, he had somebody that went through a similar thing, and they got the plastic one in, and he said the plastic one's awesome. And like, I was like, dude, it's all, like, you know, he was like in front of me, and my mom said that. Like, I was on a FaceTime. I was like, holy crap, that's great. You know,
Yeah,
it was
very
good
You're
getting
friends with
reassured.
everybody Frankie kicked the shit out of.
Yeah, dude, it's the truth, man. Like, listen, that's the only time I ever talked to Uriah Faber in my life. But like, Frankie, man, that fight, you killed it, man.
Yeah.
You fought awesome that fight. I just wanted to really say that, man. You killed it. That was great. But it's fun because TJ Lavin, you know, BMX guy, and he's such a big guy into MMA. So yeah, random. But that phone call though was so important because like I know nobody knows anybody that goes through that, gets a plastic piece installed in their head, you know.
Right.
So I finally got mine installed on Valentine's Day, my plastic piece. So it goes in. Dude, it was the worst pain ever. Like the healing of that was a nightmare.
Wow.
Like it was insane. But he comes out of that because he's explaining. He's like, all right, we're gonna put the plastic piece in. It's gonna be some bolts. They're gonna be holding it in on there. I'm gonna put some bone cement so it seals in. I'm like, I got a question. I'm like, but my brain, like, you clearly see, my brain is so, it looks like shrunken back. Like, what are you going to do to fill the void between my brain and the cranium? And he's like, it's going to sound crazy, but it's like magic, man. He goes, in 3 hours, your brain will expand and fill it up. I'm like,
Really?
God.
nuts.
Your brain is, I mean, your body's mostly water. I would assume your brain is, so maybe that's not that crazy.
It's
But
still-
yeah.
So once it had space
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
wanted
it
to
fills
grow,
in the
right,
space,
yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
So he was talking about this bone cement, it's going to be a tight seal, okay, great. So after my surgery, I remember him coming in, he's like, great news, man, best fit I've ever seen for seeing
Wow.
a 3D printed, you know, forehead thing. I'm like, oh, that's good news,
You
right?
think if Cejudo had a brain injury, you think his head would fill in with all that brain?
Oh man, you got a lot of brain.
A lot of head.
That's pretty good. So, whatever, 9 days later go by. I'm feeling pretty normal at this point. I drop something out of my wheelchair. I go to bend over to pick it up, dude.
Bro.
All of a sudden I hear like a release of air coming out of my brain. I'm like, no, he didn't do the bone cement. I'm like, damn. Called him up, drove an hour and a half to him that day. But the next morning,
So
I'm
wait,
there.
where do you hear? Where you
Just
hear
like
this in your
I
eardrum?
hear it out, but like it was like
Oh my
it was
God,
out there. I
wow.
heard like imagine like a silent but
Like, I
deadly
hope
like
that was a fart.
dude, like that's what it sounded like. I'm like, no, not again. Like, I'm like, if I have to do this again, like I don't want to do this. It sucked.
Oh
So
I-
what they say? What?
so I get there. He does a MRI or whatever. He removes my stitches, and he's like, dude, it looks awesome. He goes, let's just not bend over and get it for a little while. So I told Big Boy about it. He's like, dude, you had a brain fart? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I was like, technically I
There you
did.
go.
But then after that, never had a brain fart since. Everything's been normal. And like looking at me, dude, I can't believe it. Like just think about it, dude, I've had my head, you know, cut completely open, a fake forehead put in, but dude, you couldn't even tell. Like,
No,
it's
not at all,
man.
not at all.
I look pretty normal.
I
for all
haven't
things
seen
considered.
you since then, and I walked out obviously to greet you, and you got, and bro, you look great. You also, I mean, obviously you lost a lot of weight during that time
Dude,
too.
so
remember?
much.
Yeah.
I went from I was weighing like 135, 140, and then I dropped down to 114. Like,
Oh, wow.
It was
Holy
a lot,
shit,
man. So
yeah.
gaining it back took a while, but yeah, like I mean, it's hard to gain muscle back now because like I can't control the muscles fully. Like, you know, fast forward just a little bit, like you know, after I was out of the hospital with my brain, like I was still in a wheelchair, and then like just I went to more therapy after. Instead of living in Kessler, I was now going to a satellite one up in Ocean. I'd go a couple times a week. Then you know, my guy Tyler that was working there, he was like one day he's like, all right, we're not doing the chair anymore. You're doing strictly walker. I'm like, dude, no. I'm like, not happening. He's like, went and told my wife, and of course, like, you know, what am I gonna do? He takes my chair away, and I'm bringing my walker in. And then, dude, I went from, it's funny because you don't want to be pushed in a situation like that fully. Like, there's times, like, it sucks, man. You just feel like everything is heavy. My body feels like it weighs just 10,000 pounds, dude. So, like, I don't want to do stuff in a way, but I needed somebody to push me. And thank God they're so aggressive with that stuff.
That's great.
Because then he gets me walking again.
Yeah.
I'm walking on a walker. And then, you know, eventually I start taking steps on my own, and I'm using a cane, and then boom, I'm walking again, dude.
That's amazing.
And then 10 months later, from my accident, literally to the day, I ride my bike again at the skate park.
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
How crazy. Like,
Another legendary video on his YouTube channel you guys should watch. I just watched that yesterday. I'd seen it before, but I was kind of brushing
just
off.
think about it,
I
dude,
watched
10
that.
months later,
Yeah.
you know. And
That's
I'm back on
incredible,
my
man.
bike.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
It's nuts thinking about it, like, you know, and
It went from day one, telling your parents you may not make it through the night,
yeah.
to people not even talking about the possibility of you walking, to one doctor saying 10 months later you're actually riding your bike again.
Crazy.
How crazy is
It's
that?
it's nuts, but like I want to be clear, you know, like do I need to ride anymore? No, you know, like I've done enough in my career where like, dude, if I wasn't gonna ride BMX again, dude, like, I did 10 times more than I ever expected in my career. Like, do I need to ride anymore? No. I mean, like, do I miss what I used to have? Yes, but like it's different now in a way.
Yeah.
But like I started riding again because there were so many kids that were watching my YouTube channel, and I wanted them to see, you know, like, dude, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
I didn't want, you know, to be like a sad story. So like, I ride my bike now, but like I do it on my own terms, and I make sure that like I think about my wife and my family before I get my bike, and I'm not gonna be an idiot. I'm not gonna do things I can't handle, and they're not gonna get another phone call. I'm just gonna do it to have fun. Like, dude, I've been riding all week. This has been like I'm actually filming something, you know, with my longtime sponsor Vans. You know, me riding again. Like, dude, it's been great, and like every day.
I think that says a lot about Vans too, that they
course.
stuck with you, man.
Of course,
You know.
man.
You
Like,
got-
they're
you got to
best.
shout out. You got to shout out
It's the
Lisa.
truth. Yeah,
Your
my
wife. She's got an amazing wife,
Dude.
Lisa. I actually chat with Lisa more, you know, than I do because you're such a busy guy. I'm like, was Scotty doing a podcast? She's like, yeah, everything.
Like, and my wife, she's the best, man. Like, the fact that she had the toughest job out of anybody through this, man. Like,
Yeah, it's gotta
just
be
imagine
something,
that,
yeah,
dude. Your husband, he might not ever walk again, and yeah, he's gonna be weird. You know, like that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm just like normal, and like she doesn't have to be my caretaker anymore.
Right,
You know, like I'm
right.
so grateful for that. But she handled it like a champ.
She
dude.
did.
She just never once stopped, and still to this day, you know, she's always looking out for me. Like we went away like on a quick little vacation just this last weekend, and we went to Ocean City, and like we rented a boat, and I'm like on a beach for the first time, and like I ended up falling on the beach, and she's like, oh my god, and I'm like, we're okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I could fend for myself. If I fall, I can get back up, man. And that's so cool. Like I'm so proud of where I am.
So, as your YouTube channel, has it changed? I mean, the dynamic from mostly riding. Obviously, Big Boy probably still rides a lot. He's a big star himself. Big Boy's got a great story too. He used to be a fat kid, and like, and now he's a shredder on a BMX.
That's pretty funny.
I like Big Boy. He's a nice dude. But has your sort of platform, I guess, changed now? Is it more traveling? You guys do an incredible amount of traveling. You spend about half the year in Florida, don't you?
Well, I moved to Florida because my body doesn't do good in cold weather. Anything under like 70 degrees, I start locking up, and I take a bunch of steps back, man. I start walking full like zombie like. In Florida, man, I get to ride my bike all year round. Like it feels great. So like, you know, it sucks being away from friends and family in New Jersey, you know, but like I love being in Florida. You know, we're in Orlando area, and it's cool, man. There's a lot of things to do.
That's
like
awesome.
the lifestyle's awesome.
Yeah.
So I love being able to be active all year round. Like
Right.
especially back to my skate park being closed. We used to have a place to go in the winter time. It was great, but now since the skate park's closed, like, you know, it sucks.
You want to go outside in the cold ass weather.
Yeah.
Speaking of parks, have you guys? I wasn't here. I wasn't living here at the time. But Lou, I'm sure you have.
I just watched it
You guys see
today.
the documentary coming out about Adventure Park? Did any of you guys ever go
I
there?
heard-
Bro,
Dorney
as a
Dorney
kid-
Park.
No, Class Action Park.
What are they?
That's what it's called.
They call it Class Action
No,
Park.
Action Park.
Action
Yeah.
Park.
The one that was up in,
Yeah.
it's up
In Vernon.
like Mountain Creek.
Yeah.
But they
Vernon,
say-
right? Vernon's the name of the
Vernon,
town?
yeah.
They say there were so many injuries. They call that's why they call it. The
Yeah, it
nickname
was-
is Class. So many injuries, and their insurance was like in the Cayman Islands or something. It wasn't worth the paper.
The,
it was,
the owner made it up, yeah.
Yeah, they're making an actual documentary. I can't wait to watch it.
I've heard about that. And
I watched it
remember
today.
As a kid, like being on that rope swing thing.
Oh, so you
Oh,
did?
yeah.
Oh, see?
I was
The
in
Alpine slide. That was
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
you get.
Dude, that thing still there. Like, 'cause I went mountain biking there recently, and that slide thing is still there, which is wild. Like, there's like car things for it, I guess.
So you're into mountain biking?
Dude, it's cool.
That's something I mountain bike. I mean, I don't get to go often because I'm always training, but when I can, I go.
Did you go to like a lair?
A lair, that's most. Clayton
Lair's
sometimes,
awesome.
you know.
Yeah, Clayton is cool. A lot of like level changes. You know, I want to get back. Like, I haven't gone to a lair once since my accident. And it was a shit show, man. I ended up like falling twice, and like I did it as like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I did it. I'm like, damn. It's like, well, let's wait a little bit, just because my reaction time sucks. So like, what I want to do, I want to get like one of those electric bikes and try it.
Everybody's doing that now.
Yeah, just because like, I have enough power to pedal, but like, let's say if I had to crank up a hill, I don't know if I could do it. But I'm gonna try to go without the electric bike soon with my brother. We're gonna map out a trail. I think that'll be good for me, and we'll see how it goes. But like, I ride my road bike every single day, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, I do a bunch of miles. That's my favorite thing in the world right now, is riding my bike.
Really?
It's like it's the only time I feel like a bit normal. Like, I feel like I got speed and I'm flowing. Like, because when I walk, I'm still clunky. I can't do anything more than a stumble of a speed, you know? Like, so it's just when I get on a bike, I feel free again, man. Like, that's the most normal I feel. I could ride my bike 10 times better than I could walk.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting a road bike too. My brother-in-law's just got a Specialized, nice one, but it's fun. I take his like loan around every once in a while.
We got a shop, man. So come by, we'll hook you up, Frank.
Yeah, we should. I mean, you got a bigger following than we do, but Scotty, SC Bikes, right?
Well, SC Bicycles is the name of the website. SC Action Sports, the original name, but back to the original one, man. Here we go. Remember we talked about Bicycle World?
Right.
That's my shop now.
Oh, is it really? Right on 9?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, wow.
So,
I'll come by.
I have a picture of in second grade of drawing that place. All right, as a kid, like, it was like my favorite place in the world. I drew the racks and everything from the inside. And in 2007, me and my parents went partners, and we bought the place.
That's
well, it's crazy. This full circle in a way. My whole life. That's where I started racing, and like my little brother was racing there, and then the woman that used to own it, because my dad being the track director, he was in there constantly. I remember being in the back, messing with the mechanics and stuff. They just took me in there, and then out of nowhere, I went back there, and there was a new guy working. He's like, "Get out of here!" Kicked me out. I didn't realize it. There was another bike company. The old couple retired. A company called Beacon took over, I went back. Yeah, I went back there, and dude, that kicked me out. I never went back there again.
Wow.
Like, as a kid, I was like,
I'm gonna buy this fucking place, motherfucker.
So the fact that it happened like that, it's just crazy. So we're still open. Like, it's been really cool. Awesome. My little brother works there. My mom runs the place. Yeah. It's wild, dude. It really is. Yeah. Wow. It really is, man. Like, it's been a wild journey. It's more than I ever expected. And
now you're still doing stuff for rehabilitation and everything?
I am. I'm doing my own stuff though. Yeah. I'm finally at the point where like being just the normal stuff isn't as much of a task anymore. Like, I want to start working out, and I want to push myself, and I want to see how far I can take this, man. I want to see like I said, I want to be careful on the bike, but like, dude, I want to do a backflip again. Yeah. I know Roger's eyebrows just raised looking at me.
Which is not because you said that. It's just the mindset you have is so. I mean, I don't know that I would have that. I've never strived through adversity like you have, and I don't know. I'd like to be like, oh fuck, I'll be just like that. Nobody knows until it happens to you, but just the mindset that you could say, I would like to do a backflip again.
So bad, and like but here's the thing, like being in my position, being paraplegic and being able to, potentially have a second go at things again. Like, let me see how far I can take this thing, man. I want to start training. I want to start gaining muscle again.
Have you ever thought about stem cells?
I don't know anything about it. I don't know anyone that knows anything about it.
Talk to this guy. Talk to this guy.
Yeah. I just had a conference call with a company in Columbia, Bioaccelerator. A lot of big. Matt Hughes actually goes down there. Really? He had a TBI.
Yeah, I know all about it, man.
Yeah, man. I'll give you some info on it.
Yeah, let's talk about it afterwards, man. Because I don't know anything about it. Like, I'd be so curious to hear. I've seen.
They do things there that they just don't do here. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah. Because I remember like
you bring your YouTube channel down the road. It'd be cool.
They give you the homie hookup.
No, it's something I don't know anything about, and I gotta be educated to know.
Yeah. Sure.
That's it. And that's like a lot of things, like especially for my healing, let's say, like people are like, oh, are you doing cryo? Are you doing this? I'm like, dude, I don't even know where cryoblades is.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
and I don't know anybody that's ever done it or anything like that.
I've done it. It's alright. It's not, you know. It's like an ice bath, bro. You know what I mean?
Some people like rave about it.
Yeah.
And some people are just like, is this really cold?
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Stem cells
Yeah.
a whole nother level.
Stem cells
from that.
different
That's a
level,
whole
yeah,
nother
yeah,
level.
yeah.
That's an
It's like
internal thing.
Because
That's
in the beginning, somebody tried to get me on like a trial for the United States trying to make it legal. Like they wanted to use me as a thing, but they're like, hey, he doesn't qualify. Like my injury wasn't bad enough, so I'll take. I mean, like, that was a good thing at the time, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard good things, but I just don't know anything about it, man. So I'd be interested.
Yeah, definitely pass some info out. I don't really know much. I'm learning as I go. You know.
Just transfer it over to me,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
figure it out, and
absolutely.
we'll go from there. But like I was saying, I want to push myself. I want to see how far I can take this, man. And like, I want to do a backflip because like it's more technique. It's not a lot of power, so I think I could pull it off. I can start in a foam pit, and then I can work my way onto a different ramp, and dude, it could be pretty epic, man. I think that would be a big thing for a lot of people.
Where would you practice for that? In Florida? Because
I don't know. I mean,
you don't have anything here, right?
speaking of-
behind your shop on
Yeah.
the SC shop.
Mhm.
You've got an outdoor sort of setup up there, right?
It's a
But-
track that's back there.
Oh, okay.
You know, like it's a completely different thing from us,
Yep.
technically. So, I mean, like this goes back to my skate park being closed. Like when that skate park closed, it changed everything.
Yeah.
I wish we were more well prepared and we were able to open up another one. But dude, I was barely getting better from being paralyzed,
Yeah.
and like we had a lot of fish to fry at the time.
Right.
So I would like to, dude. My dream would be to open up another skate park. I would love to figure that out. You know, I remember I was riding my bike.
Do you think that would do better in Jersey because we do have the
Dude,
winters?
Of course,
I mean, right?
100%,
It'd do better,
dude.
right?
Because
Yeah.
in Florida, like, there's a lot of that open up, but like
Right.
everybody wants to be outside.
Right.
Nobody,
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
like, everybody wants to be. Like, it's crazy because we had like the weirdest business dynamic. We had a bike shop that does really good in the summertime when it's nice, and we had a skate park that does
Yeah.
really good when it's crappy out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like both like combined and keep each
Worked
other
out,
open.
yeah.
Like,
That's perfect.
so
Yang.
I was on a bike ride recently, and I hyped myself up to open up a skate park. I'm like, I'm doing it, and like this is like a 15-minute conversation I'm having with myself. And at the end, I'm like, all right, we're gonna have to find a realtor. And I'm like, dude, it's a freaking pandemic. You're not opening up a skate park. I'm like,
Yeah, I
you're
know,
gonna
you're
charge
right.
people to come in. You need a lot of people to come
Yeah,
in. Like,
yeah, you're
gonna
right.
have to
You're right.
figure
Think
some
of that
stuff
stuff,
out.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like so I'm like,
Just wait till November. It'll be all over.
that's
True,
yeah,
true.
that's what I'm hoping, man. So we will see what happens in the future, but I would love to. And if that's the case, then I'm going to build something that I can practice on.
Bro,
man.
you
I'm
have
gonna
such
build
a
it-
following, and you're so beloved that
Bro,
there's no way that could fail, man. I mean,
Your
there's no
attitude
way.
is amazing, honestly,
Yeah.
man. You're
Thanks,
fucking
man.
huge,
Thanks.
huge inspiration, bro.
Appreciate it,
Seriously.
Roger. I really do.
And if people don't follow your story and they start to, you can make career just being you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm being serious.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Very well spoken as well, yeah.
Thank you.
We're almost done kissing your ass. A little bit.
No, keep it up. It feels great.
But I mean, no, man. To go through what you went through and say, hey, I want to hit a fucking backflip. I mean, that's that fighting spirit, man. You know,
Does that-
I know
listen-
fighting spirit when I see it. and
Listen, man.
that's that.
Serious question. As a 38-year-old guy still fighting, I mean, I'm not an athlete, but that's
Jacks me
gotta be
up,
fucking
bro.
inspiring.
Jacks
I
me
think,
the
you know?
fuck up, man.
That's
I might
freaking
kick
cool,
your ass
man.
when we get out of here.
And I'm jumping in too.
If we're going to Beachcomber tonight, there's solid odds we might fight.
That's
Not
awesome.
me, not me.
I'm kidding.
So cool. I'm just so psyched to be able to sit here with you guys, man. This is awesome. Like, dude, Frankie, like, I'm such a fan of MMA. Like, I've been following your career for so long, and like, dude, let me just compliment you real quick. Like, my favorite thing about you and your career, dude, you were like, you didn't have to run your mouth to get the fights, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you just being Frankie. That's like, there's no other fighter that I could think of right now that didn't have to like sell themselves to make it to where you made it to, man. Like, dude, you were the big fight no matter what. These guys had to talk to be you, and if there was somebody else that was coming up that was big time, they sent them over to you, like, or like, if you wanted to switch up weight classes, like, dude, of course, get Frankie to top one, because you were going to show up every single time, man.
I appreciate
and like,
that, man.
dude, like, you had such an amazing career, and it's still going, and dude, you're still kicking ass, and I just needed to tell you that,
Thank
man,
you,
because
bro. Thank you.
we didn't really get a chance to talk much
Yeah, no,
before we
you're
jumped
right,
on, so
right,
I just
right.
needed to let you know, dude, I'm such
Well,
a big fan.
I mean, someone that's a legend and doing what you do, it's definitely much appreciated, man. So, like-minded, I've people, I guess, connect, and yeah, man, you're the way you attack stuff too, and the way you have this confidence in yourself. they have to have that in fighting, I think, and that's why I never talked. You know what I mean? I was always just confident in myself. I'll let my actions do the talking for me.
But you
and you
actually
seem
were
kind of
able to
like
do
that
that.
yourself, you know.
Even the biggest
doing
shit
that,
talkers
man.
of the game, the guys in his weight class, the guys like Conor McGregor, never really talked a lot of shit about Frankie, which I
Everybody
think
respected
I think
him.
it
And
says
they
a
know
lot.
I'm friends with
Yeah.
Roger, bro. They better be nice to this
But
guy.
not only the fighters respect you, but like the guys, you know, that are controlling the company, they know, like, dude, of course we're gonna put Frankie in this position because he's gonna show up and he's gonna do what he's gonna do. Like, that's awesome, man.
Man,
Like,
thank you, man. Thank you.
so freaking cool, dude. Just from like an outsider, you know, me being a BMX guy, like I just needed to let you know that,
Guys,
man.
I'm
It's so
feeling a
cool.
little left out. Can you compliment my hair or something?
Listen, bro, you definitely had a good run on Jersey Shore, right? It was a solid run.
What a dick. What a dick.
Yeah. This is a lot of fun, man. Thanks for having me out.
Nah,
man.
dude,
This is cool.
this was a blast, man. I listened to your story and I'm inspired, man. I really am, and you know, I'll definitely like to see. I'd like to see you do that backflip, bro.
I'm gonna go for it, Frank.
Yeah,
so.
hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
I got a question. So I was watching a clip. Little Charlie Cranmer showed me a clip back in the day. I think it was X Games when you came down the pipe and you did a trick going down. Was that
Yeah.
planned?
Oh yeah. So that was my first X Games gold medal. So what he's talking about is 2006 X Games. So like I said, in 2003 was my first one. 2004 I broke my leg, couldn't ride. 2005 I got second place behind Dave Mira. Awesome.
wow, dude.
Dave Mira went on David Letterman and he's like, yeah, Scotty Cranmer should have won that one. Like crazy.
No
Wow.
shit.
Like so. I mean, I didn't care. I got second place behind Dave Mira. It was fun. I got my first X Games medal. 2006 they had built like the perfect course for me, and I did this like tail dropping down this crazy, 40-foot roll, and like, dude, it was scary as hell, but like that was kind of who I am, I was that guy that looked outside the box in my riding, and like if you build something like that for me, I'm like, dude, thank you. Like that's gonna give me opportunity to be different than everybody else. So that was my first X Games gold medal, though. That was a really cool feeling.
Now I'm gonna have to watch that.
That was
Yeah.
huge, man. The announcers
Let's
were
talk
like,
about Dave Mira for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
What a sad story that
It is,
I mean,
man.
to the world, to me, no, and probably maybe even to you. I don't
It
know.
is,
You knew him.
yeah.
I mean, the guy seemed like he was on top of the world. You just never know what sort of demons
are
people
going
deal
through,
with,
yes.
or
Yeah.
that's why your mental outlook and your headstrong ability is so impressive to me, because I mean you could have looked at that. Your perspective could have been a number of different ways on what you went through and what you experienced, and bro, you looked at it like nothing but positive. The physical pain alone had to be just
It was rough,
awful.
man, because like that was my idol. Dave Mira was my idol, and the fact that like it ended the way it did killed me, because like part of me, like I was really bummed out for those last couple of years, because like Dave, the baddest dude to ever touch a bike, the dude pushed BMX so far, and I felt like when he left BMX, I felt like in a way like BMX, like we weren't like bringing him back, or like like kind of keeping him at the top like he deserved to be. Like I wanted him to be recognized more for everything he'd done, but he left. He started rally car racing. He started doing like triathlons and stuff like that. And pushing himself into the highest limit. Like the first time I ever met Dave Mira, he brought me, or not first time, like first time I ever hung out with Dave Mira, he brought me on a trip with him, and he selected me to be in his video. There's only like 6 guys that were in this video part, and I played poker with him. First time I ever played poker in my life, and I'm doing all right, doing decent. Like and then Dave Mira was getting out, and he bought back in, and then he's getting out, bought back in, getting out, bought back in, and the dude just wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't quit, and then he goes and wins the game.
You know what that
And, like,
reminds me of? The Last Dance, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah.
They
Similar,
said he
isn't
would
it?
play on the bus for big money, and he'd see the guys in the back playing for like the not the star athletes, the guy that weren't made. They weren't, and he'd still want to beat them. It was just about competitiveness.
Exactly, because he had that
Yeah,
competitive
drive, yeah.
inside of him. So
Yeah.
like me realizing that, like as time went on, like, and after BMX, like, and he wasn't able to be that top guy, like that killed me in a way, like that he was out there trying to just find it, doing other things. So like
Yeah.
when it ended the way it did, dude, that was rough, and it's just such a sad story.
Is there any insider talk, since you're an insider? I mean, of what caused? Clearly, it was depression, but
Yeah.
what brought that on? Was it that he sort of lost his way and he wasn't this top athlete anymore? Or
I think that had a lot to
Yeah.
a lot to do with it, man. Like and to be honest with you, I'll be straight up honest, and it's pretty dark, but like, dude, there's times where I've had some dark times after when my BMX career was
I went through it,
plateauing,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and like it's like I get so depressed. Like when I was starting my YouTube channel, man. Like, and this is a sad story, but like, when I started, I'm trying so hard to get these videos out, and I'm not getting any views like the rest of the guys. Like I remember just crying in my room, just laying on the floor crying of like, now what? Like what am I gonna do? And then once the channel took off, like I said, that's why I ran full.
Keep showing up.
Yeah,
that's what you do. You keep showing up.
And that's the thing. Like now, and especially the fact that like, CTE. Let's talk about that in a way. Like it's played such a big role. Like Dave Mirra, CTE.
Right,
So like that makes me think, man. Dude, I've hit my head so many times.
Man,
and like, and I know I was getting dark, and I'm like, man, dude, maybe I'm affected by it. But if I acknowledge it at least, and I talk to everybody around me of how I'm feeling, I think that's the main thing. You know what I mean? Like I've been super happy. It's times where it would get dark for me, especially in my situation. Like it sucks when I can't do normal things. Like especially right now. Like when I can't, open up a bottle of water or something like that because I'm not strong enough right now. Like it sucks. It's really frustrating. Right. But like. I just always got to remember like things could be so much worse. I try to tell myself that, just to keep it through. But like, I think it's human nature to always, want to just keep on pushing forward with yourself and wanting more in a way. And like, I think it's hard when you're a professional athlete at the top, and then it just comes to, you're not the guy anymore, dude. That's really hard to deal with. So.
Well, I mean, your outlook on it and just the way you talk, just the way you're talking. I mean, you can tell. You're a headstrong dude, and that you gotta be in this situation, And like you said, I mean, CT scares the shit out of me as well, Obviously, I've had numerous amount of concussions, and
Sewell, the football player. I mean,
Junior Seau.
They say that he shot himself in the chest to preserve his brain so that they could do CTE testing on him.
But now they have, I think they said they can detect it now before postmortem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what was the weird? You gave a weird stat on that one time. They tested
if you played football.
Right.
And that didn't have to be necessarily professional, but could have been, little kid all the way through. And I think I'm not exactly sure. They tested like 250 brains and like 248 of them had CTE.
Wow.
But I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, wonder, I would test 10 brains that didn't do anything.
Right.
And see if is half of them have maybe you know what I mean? How many people just have maybe everyone has CTE?
No,
I
you're
don't
right. That's an interesting thing to think.
Everybody hits their head a little bit,
Like, but let's just talk like Junior Seau. Like it was so early on. Like what I mean. Like I feel like because of him and because of other people that are going through it, there's now that we could know about it if we could potentially be going through it. Right. So if it's going to be out in the open and we could talk about it, then maybe that's going to help fix everything. Maybe it's not going to permanently fix it, but like.
Well, I think talking about Scott is the biggest thing,
and
especially football players, man. They're,
Well, not only just talking about it, which I think is hugely integral and important. They've changed the rule set in football that it's not as.
I don't think that matters.
Oh,
they're
really?
they're saying you get. It's not even hits to the head. You hit the body and your head, your jolts. That's enough to give you a CT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times I've been slammed on a mat before I even started fighting? You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Well, I'm hoping, like I don't know, Elon Musk. The
Neuralink.
Dude, this literally could be like
life changing. Yeah.
So I'm so curious to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Maybe that can, something like that can help. Dude.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. The future it's only going to get better for the situations like these,
question.
and I'm excited to see. What comes next, because there will be something. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
You couple science with your attitude, though, and it's like, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time.
No, you're totally right, man. So.
Yeah.
But those football players, too, I was saying, or just athletes in general, when you're, especially football, though, because that's like our biggest sport in our country, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
A lot of people.
And, in high school, they're getting noticed. So in high school, they're the man.
Mm-hmm.
You're the man. College, you're the man. You're the pros, you're the man. Now you retire, it's like, who's that guy? This. I think that a lot of that has to do with CTE too. I'd imagine.
With mood swings, man.
Yeah.
The emotions swinging around for sure.
And I know for sure, days, even after fights, man, I get rocked or rocked in practice. Like, dude, I'm like, I know some of those dark days. You just you get depressed for no reason. Like, dude, why am I depressed? I don't even know why I'm depressed.
Yeah. Because I'm just think about it, man. I mean, I've hit my head riding my bike a bunch of times, knocked out. I mean, not all fake teeth from hitting my head. Dude, it was part of my life, and dude, if anybody is gonna be worried about that, dude, I got a fake forehead right now. You know what I mean? Dude, I'm sitting there thinking about it, like, dude, I'm like a prime candidate for this kind of stuff.
If we had the possibility to revert time and take and you could do it all over again and not be a professional BMX rider to not have this accent,
Yeah.
would you do that?
Dude, it's such a hard thing to
It's
say.
a hard thing, right?
It's so
Because
hard
it sort
to
of made
say.
you.
Of course,
yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, like, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing without
Right,
it, you know,
right.
like, I really don't, and it's wild, because, like, this is my life, and it's like, my parents weren't anything but BMX. Dude, my whole family's life revolves around this now. My mom, you know, working out of my bike shop. My dad, you know, clearly, you know, he owns the bike shop as well. My sister married a BMX rider. My little brother competes riding BMX. Like, dude, if I didn't make that decision of
It
riding,
would have affected a whole
everything,
thing,
man.
Butterfly effect.
It really is. That's crazy to think about. Oh, real quick, butterfly effect. The kid that played in the Butterfly Effect, you know, the movie, the one that played like the teenage Ashton Kutcher.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one that got the part for that Stick It one.
No.
that I auditioned for.
This is like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Just
This is
saying.
crazy. This
Just
is-
saying that.
This
The
is
same
6 degrees of
actor,
Scotty
man.
Cranmer right now.
That's right.
Holy shit.
He got my spot.
Damn it.
Yeah, just figured I'd throw that one in there, just because you brought it up.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, ridiculous, man. That's my life right there.
Shit.
Imagine that, seeing Scotty Cranmer on the trailers to movies.
Dude,
That would
be great, man.
Hey, it's never too late.
I think
No.
it is though. I think it is, Frank, because
no
like
way,
I just,
dude,
you
no
know,
way, man.
I just don't got that movement. I don't got the.
Nah, I think it.
You got the swag though, brother. You definitely got the swag.
Thanks, man. I needed that
Yeah.
compliment, especially with my walk nowadays. I appreciate it, guys.
So, not on. Let's go to a little personal if we can. Future. What does the future hold? I mean, you have an amazing wife, Lisa. We mentioned her before. Love Lisa to death.
Yeah.
Just the most heartfelt, terrific woman you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
But what's the future for you guys? You ever think kids in the future?
Of
or-
course, yeah.
You guys have English Bulldogs.
do,
Like
we
you have
do.
about 35 of them.
Dude, technically, I've had 6 since 2011.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
we're down to 2 because I
Okay.
mean, the English Bulldogs. They're, you know, they have those.
I had a
Yeah,
Frenchie, and they only lived to be about 10 or 11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you know, we've lost a couple over the years. You know, but we have 2 right now. They're such a pain in the butt. We love them to death. But like, you know, afterwards, like, my wife, like, she loves kids. She would love to have kids, and like, you know, I'm like, we'll just wait the Bulldogs. We'll take care of these, and then we'll take
Yeah,
on
we'll let
another
the next-
project.
yeah.
You know, like that's where I'm at. But like,
Yeah.
she deserves it, man, and that's what's gonna make her happy,
Yeah.
and that's what's gonna make her life. Then like, yeah, of course, man. Of
Yeah.
of
happy
course.
wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Kids will make
She
you happy
deserves
too.
it,
You'll
man.
once you have kids, you'll be
Yeah.
like, damn, all right.
She'd make a phenomenal mother,
Yeah.
man.
How
She's-
old were you when you had your first ring?
I had my first at 27.
Brother, I was
27,
39 when I had my
28.
first. So you got plenty of time. What are you, 33?
I'm 33 right now.
You got plenty of time. But it doesn't matter as much for guys as it does.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have that
right?
biological
She, like,
clock thing.
she,
So
my wife's 30. You know, she's 33 now, and she's like,
plenty of time.
in her head,
Plenty
or
of
sorry,
time.
yeah, she's 33. But in her head, she's like, what? I mean, I only got a couple years. I'm like, things are gonna be okay.
Yeah.
She's just
Yeah.
immediately just thinking
That's
about
that's
that.
that's
but-
how they work. That's how
I
they
know,
work,
I know.
yeah.
It's like it's programmed, man. It's natural. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
she sees all her friends having kids, man.
Yeah.
That's not doing good for for me trying to get through
Yeah.
the next couple
No,
years here.
no,
But to be
no.
honest with you about the whole baby thing, like it's like I want to see how better I can get too. Like I want to be able to hold the baby
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
confidently,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like I want
yeah.
to be able to
I hear
help
you.
her and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so that gives me more motivation to get better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, I would love that, man. I really would.
You guys would make phenomenal parents, man. So yeah, that's great. I didn't know what you were gonna say. I didn't know if you guys, maybe some people just don't want to
No,
have
of
kids.
course,
you know
man.
what I
I've
mean?
seen it. Yeah, I've definitely seen it. But yeah, it's something that I think would be a really cool experience.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, especially like seeing my brother with his kids and just everybody. But I know the commitment. Like I'm glad that like I know of how important it is and how much a commitment, and I know that like it's okay to wait. You
Yeah,
know, you don't have
of
to
course.
rush these
Yeah,
things or
no,
anything like that.
definitely.
Brother, I waited. I was 39,
Yeah.
but I waited for a reason. I mean, obviously you have to meet the right person.
Of course.
But I think there's pros and cons to everything. You're having kids young, you got youth on your side, you're sort of that young, energetic parent or whatever. But I think you become a lot more financially secure the older you get, as well as
Yeah.
probably a little bit more mentally mature and stuff.
Definitely.
So for me, it was the right reason. I would have been an idiot if I had a kid in my 20s. I wouldn't have had a
Doesn't
clue.
mean
So-
you would have been.
Yeah, so here we go. See, anger issues. Go get some counseling.
Like I think about like my parents, man. Like I remember being 6 years old and asking my dad how old he was, and he's like, "I'm 29." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'd have like a 10-year-old or something like that. Yeah, it's nuts. That is
sure.
crazy.
But it was
to
a
think
different. My
about.
parents had me when my sister and I were 19 months apart. I think my parents were like 22, 23. I think people just do it a little
Older
later.
generation,
You know?
Of course, but I know it changes you too. You know, like it's a. I always tell my friends like, or people like when like you're an adult when you're of age, but like you're a grown up when you have kids.
Yeah.
That's
Kids
when
different.
everything changes, man.
Now you're not thinking for yourself anymore.
And you can't. And that's that. As long as people are at that point when they realize that they're not thinking for themselves,
Right.
I feel like then you're ready to have kids.
Yeah,
That's the big thing.
right.
So. Like I feel like I got a good head on my shoulders for it, and
Yeah.
I feel
No,
like
you
when
don't.
that happens, I'll be alright.
I wouldn't doubt it, you know.
You know, it'll be a cool experience. It really would be, man. It would be a lot. I think it would be easier than the English Bulldogs. I really do. Dude, they're pain in the butt, dude. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What's your IG at? I mean, listen, you got a huge following, but shout it out.
Yeah, well,
in case
yeah,
anybody
it's
wants to follow you and your YouTube channel as
Yeah,
well.
it's all just Scotty Cranmer. So
Scotty
at Scotty
Cranmer.
Cranmer. So yeah, check it out. Just trying to have some fun.
And
and
before you
push
leave,
forward.
my man, we'll take the board down for you, but you got to sign the board, brother.
I'll be honored.
Be
man.
honored, man.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah, well,
Very honored,
thank you
brother.
for coming in, man, and spend some time with us. Dad, we'll have to have you down when you do your next big video. We'll have to have you down.
Dude, I would love to do it again, man. This is a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, for
awesome,
sure, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. I've been chasing you around for a little bit. I was always like, man, he's such a busy guy. I don't know if I want to text him or not. And I was like, I'll reach out to Lisa. Lisa's probably got a little bit. So Lisa's like, we'll get him on. So thank you, man. It really means a lot. You coming on, brother. I appreciate it. Since I heard your name 15 years ago, it's been spoken with nothing but respect. When I got the opportunity to meet you, even in the position and the situation you were in, you were just such a happy-go-lucky, good dude. Your whole family, man. I mean, I feel like I've met your whole family that day. Big boy, everybody, and today is the exact same thing. So, man, such an honor, such a pleasure to know
An
you. Thank you
inspiration,
so
bro.
much
Big
to come
inspiration,
in.
man.
You're a huge
Seriously.
inspiration to many, many people out there. So,
Thanks.
and if you didn't know it, which I'm sure you did, we're here to tell you. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
sure.
Man, this has been a really cool experience.
yeah, brother, for sure. Love to have you back on one day, bro.
Be honored.
Maybe after your dad.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All the
Champ of the
war
Tramp.
stories.
Share, like, subscribe.
Peace.
Peace.